Raney from the 95th Training Division. May you state your name, MOS, and your branch?
Absolutely. Good morning, Cadet Smith. My name is Command Sergeant Major Stephen Raney. I am an 11 Zulu or 11 Bravo Infantry. That's my primary MOS, but of course I hold second two other MOSs actually, 42 Alpha being one of those. My unit that I'm currently in is the 95th Training Division. I was actually recently placed in position or selected for a position by General Davis as of February the 3rd. The 95th is a world that I'm not unfamiliar with, being that I served there as a drill sergeant before, and also served there as a brigade CSM of 1st Brigade, 95th Division. Been in position for roughly about 2 months, so I don't have quite 3 months under my belt, but definitely looking forward to being back home, so to speak.
Thank you so much. And what does your day-to-day task look like?
My day-to-day task consists of many things, but the bottom line is ensuring that I'm driving the commander's intent, General Davis' intent, and the things that she wants to get done. For those who aren't familiar with what the 95th does, we actually make drill sergeants. That's the main thing that we do. And of course, those drill sergeants go out to the various BCT environments and they train our future soldiers. So we have not necessarily, I don't want to say the word quota, but we have a certain number of drill sergeants that we'd like to have within our organizations, and that's a consistent revolving door. Unlike the active component, we don't have a direct pipeline of individuals that have been DA selected to attend drill sergeant school. So in the reserves, we have to do our own recruiting. We have a lot of outstanding leaders and processes in place that, quite frankly, we didn't have when I was a young drill sergeant that aid to that. But everyone obviously can't be a drill sergeant. And so we have a strict criteria of qualifications that those individuals have to meet just to be placed in our programs. I manage 3 brigade drill sergeants. I manage 3 brigade CSMs. They in turn manage up to 6 battalion CSMs. So I just oversee those individuals and again, ensure that we're meeting the commander's intent, which just doesn't consist of making drill sergeants, but there are also many metrics that we have to maintain, our soldiers rather, have to maintain. So to ensure that all of those things are being met, and quite frankly, in a nutshell, all of the needs of the soldiers are being taken care of.
So in your role, you're shaping the future of the military. What success and advice that you can give to cadets and leaders?
I'm going to try not to go down a rabbit hole on this one. I'll say this. I would say to any cadet, to any young officer, know that you're always being watched. Know that soldiers are always looking to you, even if you're not in their direct chain of command, and always be the example. Always set the example. I like to use examples. Having been in the military for a really long time, 35 years, I know that's long, but having been in so long, I can tell you that some of the best leaders that I've had or I've known, they weren't necessarily directly in my chain of command. Now, many of them have been, absolutely. But as officers, please know that you're always being watched, always set the example. And I'm going to get into this a little bit later on in some of the questions, but when you make decisions, please understand all decisions won't be popular, but always be doing the right thing and always make decisions in the best interest of not only the soldier, but the Army as well. And lastly, I'll add, be consistent with the decisions that you make. Always be consistent and do the exact same thing every single time. I understand that situations and circumstances may be different, but to the best of your ability, be consistent. There should be certain things that you are the exact same with every single time.
Thank you so much. And so how do you approach your dynamic with an officer, or what were some of the expectations that you had for your lieutenant?
I would say for them to be knowledgeable as best they can be, but also know that they won't know everything. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. No leader knows everything. No CSM, no commander has all of the answers. I would further tell you that we rely heavily upon our staff, to make us aware of things, to keep us straight, to keep us on the straight and narrow. But as I always tell the staff, even when I spoke to them as recently as last week, there's only one commander. There's only one commander, and the final decision will always lie with him or her. to control things. In this case, it's General Davis, obviously, but the CG, General Davis, she absolutely relies on me, which I absolutely appreciate, and she relies on many members of our staff. Everyone has things that they can contribute, but just have the willingness to listen, just to listen.
Absolutely. And for mentorship, how has your mentor impacted you? And then what do you do as far as mentoring others?
Cadet Smith, what I will tell you when it comes to mentorship, every leader is a mentor. I've had many mentors throughout my life, even before I understood what a true mentor was. There would be individuals, and this kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. There were individuals that I would look to and just be watching them, leaders, and seeing how they did things. Now that went both ways, because I always like to use the statement that I've had good leaders and I've had bad leaders, and I've learned from both. On the bad ones, obviously, I learned that those are things that I never want to do. I never want to find myself in those type of positions. On the good leaders, the good mentors, I took everything from them, even when they didn't know that I was doing it, and just tried to modify my leadership style from what I saw them do. And to put it in the simplest form, I always tried to treat people, when I became a leader, whenever I got into a leadership position, I always tried to treat people the way that I wanted to be treated. So when as you heard me say earlier, I have 3 brigade CSMs that I manage, and they in turn are over anywhere from 4 to 6 battalion CSMs. But in my meeting that I had with them literally about a month ago, when we had our leadership symposium, I told them all, when I had all of my CSMs in the room at the battalion and brigade level, I told all of them that I'm never going to make a decision in regards to one of their soldiers without their input or without their knowledge, because I want them to be a part of that process. I don't know the soldiers at the level that they do, because those other senior leaders, they would have more of a direct line to those soldiers to know. So at this level, at the brigade level, with about anywhere from 22 to 2,300 soldiers within the organization, there's no way I can know everyone. So I absolutely lean on those individuals. The mentor, my mentors always were approachable. They were approachable, they listened, and they value what I brought to the conversation. Take that into account. Take that into account. The soldiers are always going to be looking for you. And even if they don't ask, they're looking for leadership. Be present. As we say in the drill sergeant world, don't ever ask your soldier to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. Absolutely. And please know that they're always watching you. And I'm going to add this last little bit, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. They're always watching you on and off duty. Always. And especially in the world that we're in now, the information age, and soldiers are so technically savvy, they are always watching. So there is no more 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. There's no way we can operate like that. But there's no way we can have that mindset in that way. And your soldiers are always watching what you do on and off duty.
Thank you so
much. Hope that answers your question, because I went kind of deep on that.
Yes, it does. Thank you. And for as you're dealing with the future, the Army has gone under reshaping. What do you look forward to, the innovations for us, technology and behavior-wise?
The innovation, obviously, the innovation is so far above the level of what I ever expected to see in the Army. So I'm really excited about that. There are so many new and different things that we're doing that quite frankly we didn't do back in my day. Really excited about those. Really excited about the direction that the Army is going. I love how we have made it. It's not that we weren't about the soldiers before, but we take a true interest in our soldiers' well-being. With systems like IPSE, I'll use that one for example, or the BIOD that's actually coming out here recently. It's putting soldiers more in control of their own careers and allowing them to, quite frankly, see it from the higher leadership perspective. When I was a young soldier, I never truly understood why we were doing certain things. It was just take direction and go with it. Now we're more of informing the soldiers on why we do what we do, to give them a better understanding, if you will, the more strategic or the big picture of why we do what we do. I'm really excited about that approach. I love how Big Army, as we say, is really welcoming to that and pushing that out to the soldiers to truly make them understand why we do the things that we do, so that they understand at all levels. Quite frankly, soldiers are different now. Nothing against my generation that came over, but soldiers are much smarter. They want to know the why instead of just do. They want to know the why of what we're doing. So I'm really excited that the Army is receptive in pushing that out as a more of the standard on how we do business moving forward.
Thank you so much. And those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything for me?
Cadet Smith, I would say to you and every other cadet, and I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but I feel compelled to just drive it home, because again, this is something that I say to my senior leaders at every leadership symposium that I speak on. Know that you can make a difference, that one individual can make a difference. If I can tell you just a really, really quick story. When I was literally, this happened about a month ago. I was in my office working on some stuff, and I received an email from a Mr. Gatewood. I had no idea who that was, so I'm looking at the email. It turns out this Mr. Gatewood is a soldier that I trained in basic training many, many years ago when I was a much younger individual. I was an E5 drill sergeant at that time. And this particular soldier had a picture, because he sent a picture of himself and me standing there, and I'm much slimmer in that picture, but I'm standing there with him. And he went on about how he got out of the military, but he remembered everything that I taught him. He remembered everything that he watched me do. And he appreciated the fact that I took a concern and a care about him and helped him with this problem. And I will tell you, I didn't know, if I were to walk by him in the street today, I would not know who he is at all. So I'm saying that to say this: never think that it could be a 5-minute interaction with an individual. As a leader, or just in a person in general, but especially as a leader, it could be a 5-minute interaction with someone. It could be life altering for them. They might have a mindset about something that's totally wrong, and before they met you, you changed their perspective. You had an opportunity to change their perspective on how they may have viewed a certain thing, whatever that thing may be. So I just want individuals, I want leaders to understand the magnitude of the impact that they can have on individuals. And in a leadership position, when you're standing in front of a formation, when you're speaking to an individual, that's magnified. Now, you may not ever cross paths with that individual again, but in that one moment in time, you had an opportunity to change their lives. And sometimes you'll do it without even knowing. This particular former soldier, Mr. Gatewood was his name. Again, to me, I didn't do anything significant. At least I didn't feel like I did anything significant. But to him, he remembered it. And I will tell you, this is almost 20 years ago when I trained that soldier. So though I know cadets may not be drill sergeants unless they obtain that throughout their career, please don't ever forget that as an individual, as a leader, you are in a position to make a difference in individuals' lives. Whether they stay in the Army or they get out, they will remember it.
Thank you so much. And that's so true. I've definitely seen that for other individuals. And thank you so much for speaking with me. I hope you have a great one.